Hey everybody, we're very happy to be here. Ben Soifer, Dar Radfar. Thanksgiving is coming up. Everybody's very thankful. Lots of gratitude, lots of good energy everywhere. Of course, you'll have sometimes different groups or people that may focus on the other side of things, which is not necessarily the positive energy. But us here at Swimming with Whales, we always focus on positive energy and how can we be value add to your platform, to your family office, whether you're an operator operating a business and looking to acquire real estate, or whether you are a real estate owner and you would like to acquire more, whether you just want to achieve financial freedom faster than you think right now you're able to, because that's what all the money managers are telling you, that you got to keep working until 60 something. So Dar and I, and Dar, I'd like to call him Mr. Health, and he is rad. He's rad about being healthy and about achieving your goals. So, today we're really going to focus, as you're driving, as you're watching us, as you're riding your bike, on the purpose of the show, the purpose of the podcast, the purpose of, what it is that you're really asking us to provide as we're taking your time, which is valuable. And we want to make sure that you're walking away with actual quantifiable results that you can call us, you can call other partners that we work with, and you can see how that can benefit your platform, your system. Dar.
So first of all, one of the biggest things I want Ben to teach me, the investor, just like you all should probably are investors, is what deals is he looking at? What deals can we jump in on if we like what we hear? What's the return? How is he finding these deals, right? So that you guys can also actually understand not only the process, but say, hey, reach out to Ben and be like, I have $100K, I want to invest. What should I do? Should I do the deal that you're doing in Houston, or the one in Michigan, or the car wash?
Absolutely.
And whatever, so that you can actually have all the emails that he gets and he filters through on a daily basis. We discussed how many emails you get and what you, and then you send me some and you're like, Dar, check this out.
Right.
So now we want to share those. And then, I'm a dentist, but I'm also a huge guy on sleep and wellness and mental health. And I'll be going to a week-long retreat in a couple of weeks in San Diego, learning about how the power of your thought can actually transform your DNA, let alone your finances, let alone your relationships. So I also want to provide some value there, because it's not just about making money, right? It's also being able to have a purpose and a passion for something beyond your money. As he said, we don't want to work beyond a certain age, physically, mentally. We want to utilize our income potential to be able to have passive income so that we can actually go do things that are more purposeful. Because at the end of the day, there's so many rich dudes and gals that they think their life sucks and they're worth $50 million, and they're, thinking about suicide, or they're thinking something very negatively. And in general, if you're thinking that, you're not going to live a happy life no matter how rich you are, right?
You know what I just thought about as you're saying it? I remember how Jim Cramer was investing money while he was technically homeless, living out of his car. And in order to invest money, you cannot have a negative outlook on life.
Yeah, we all know that person that's always asking, what's the negative? What's the downfall? And not having that positive thought.
And that's
about
good. That's good.
It's great, but that's fear-based. And when you lead with fear, you always want to know what the negative, how much can I lose in this? What happens if there's a down market? You always want to know those things. But at the same time, if you're leading with just that, you're most likely going to attract deals that are going to be that, because that's all your focus is, right? Wherever your focus goes, the energy goes into that. And so our focus here is to be able to provide safer than usual, I think, investment opportunities, which you're very good at. And at the end of the day, having the right mindset to be able to not only accept and manifest it, not just think about it, but actually envision it being part of the deal, going to an investor meeting,
You have to
perhaps,
be
all these
active.
kinds of things, being
You
active.
you
Yeah.
have to be active. Dar, going to conferences as an operator with multiple locations to educate others, to get educated himself. Every single experience that we're involved in where we know our purpose. That's the key. Again, as you're riding your bike, as you're driving your car, as you're watching us, you want something out of this. We need to provide something that somehow will enrich your life. And when you're looking for that something, as it pertains to, again, financial freedom, specifically how we know how to make it, we will tell you the secret sauce. I love investigative reporting. I love how you could have reporters that will do the hard work, go through the hurdles of finding out the truth, and then provide it to the viewers and the listeners. And that's what Swimming with Whales is. We are investigative reporting on our space because we are transparent,
Right.
and we share, and you can reach us. In today's day and age, 2025, that's kind of difficult. I don't know how many of you are on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on
I am always.
Instagram. Yeah.
I don't want to be, but I'm all over the place because we have to.
I can tell you that the majority of interaction I have with social connections are mostly, I wouldn't say bots, but because I'm not gonna, say that, but definitely a certain percentage of it. But I would say the individuals that are contacting me are not doing it in a real authentic way that me as a person can say, hey, let's hop on a call.
It's a lot of
And
AI generated contacts through LinkedIn. That's why it's important to get information. It's almost like you're already in a group right now, like a Facebook group or whatnot. This is the group. This is what you're going to be learning. So I'd like to,
and being grateful.
yeah,
Always reminding you guys,
whether it's
it's
Thanksgiving or
all
not.
about being grateful.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want you to maybe go over it. Right when I walked in today,
Yeah.
guys, he was talking to me about a deal. You want to share something that
I
you're
do,
working
I
on
do.
and what
So
you're going through?
I do. So remember, here with Swimming with Whales, what we're focusing on again is what is good and what is bad, because you have to know what's bad, what the red flags are, what potential platforms not to use. So reach out to us if there are platforms that you don't find useful based on the time you're spending on them or money.
Define,
So I'll give you
define
an
the
example.
platform.
I'll give you an example. We utilize a CRM system called One Page CRM.
One page.
One Page
Okay.
CRM. It's roughly $150 a year.
Mhm.
And you're able to do all for the most part, the necessities of a CRM.
Right.
For those of you who don't know what a CRM is, contact relationship management system. And over the weekend, I was talking to a friend of my daughter's who's younger than me by a few decades, and they are in sales. And they are trying to figure out, and when I say they, it's a lady, it's not, they don't go by pronouns. I just, anyways, to go back, not to deviate. But I thought of, is she using a CRM system,
Mhm.
or is she just trying to get the recipient to respond to the email?
Okay.
So again, it's really important I personally have found this particular CRM system very good for the money, and for what it provides.
How does that help you in real estate?
In real estate, it allows me to do a short e-blast,
Okay.
to my professional groups.
Yeah.
And I'm able to even see who's opening it and how many times.
Right.
So I'm able to reach out
Right.
to maybe to whoever's more
one who-
interested
yeah,
than
yeah,
than
than
the
not.
others.
Yeah.
But again, going back to why it's important to not get bogged down into systems either, not to bore everybody with a story. And I'm always going to have these stories because I've been around for more than 3 decades now in real estate. But back in 2002, 2003, 2004, I had an assistant that is about 10 years older than me. And he got really bogged down with putting in the information into the system. And when I was asking him, well, why you're not going out and knocking on doors? Back then I was selling residential real estate, or going to the contacts that I'm giving you. He goes, well, I'm still putting it into the system. And 2 weeks later, he's putting it into the system. And a month later, he's still modifying the system. That's not good. That's something that all of us have to realize at some point. How beneficial am I being in the next 18 hours, as Steve Jobs, says, that I'm awake?
Right. There's a
And,
few
and
tasks to do. Have those 3 tasks, get it done for that day.
he's just inputting,
Right.
sitting on a
Right.
ball, on a round ball.
So you use your
so
CRM to be able to communicate with certain investors.
I
Right.
use the CRM honestly in order to be able to track down my notes
Mhm.
and be able to track down really all engagement from all different platforms.
Okay. So the investor that's listening out there, for
Yeah.
example, and they're doing their own trait, whether they're a chiropractor, a dentist, they own wellness centers, whatever it
Yeah.
is that they do, businesses that they do, and they don't really need a CRM. They just want to learn about what opportunities are out there. What would you say right
You can
now
just
is
use
hot?
Outlook.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what's
What's
hot?
hot out there? What area,
Well,
what
listen,
industry looks like to be ones? Because you told me there's people who are retiring, meaning they're older, they're in their 80s, they have laundromats, they have car washes, they have certain types of
you
businesses
got
that's
people
just
retiring in the 30s
yeah.
too.
Well,
It
yeah.
all depends on
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
need. But
So
yes,
what's hot right now that you think is returning something?
businesses.
Yeah.
Businesses are hot.
What kind of businesses do you
So
see?
again, this show, this podcast is not for you to study as a class. It's in layman's terms information. Um, if you don't know what EBITDA means, and we can look at the definition, but for those of you that are from the real estate world, it's the same as an NOI, net operating income. The only difference is that it's the net income for a business.
Right.
So that's the layman's terms that I would describe it as. And the return on these businesses, that there was one down the street right here in the city, that in Woodland Hills, that actually traded, and the return that they were asking on the business, it was making roughly 150,000, and they wanted roughly 150,000. So that's considered a very good deal,
Do
because
you know what the EBITDA was for that? Was it 30% on the 20% on what they were collecting?
they were collecting 150,000
Okay.
net,
Uh-huh.
and they ended up selling it for roughly that.
Okay.
So anytime you're able to purchase any business, whether it's a bookkeeping business, whether it's a laundromat, whether it's dry cleaners, whether it's car washes, anything that potentially, you know, can be bettered by you making it more technologically better and making it more efficient, in addition to getting a deal at it. Because remember, the reason you guys are listening to us, to Ben and to Dar, is because we are here to give you good deals. Okay? It's not about you understanding how necessarily we got there and us sharing our stories, which you guys are nice enough to listen to us and to our
Well,
stories.
they want to know how you got
Yeah,
there. Storytelling is important.
we still try to minimize it. I really want to give more results.
So
And
let's
going back to
go for it.
results,
Yeah.
there's a lot of businesses out there that are trading. And if any operators out there are looking to potentially buy another branch per se, then they should. They should look at it. This is the time to do it. This is the time to grow. That's how they will achieve financial freedom.
Where would they be able to find some of these businesses? What's your recommendation?
Honestly, just Google it. I see it in the last 2 years. I've seen a whole bunch of services come up, and they all provide, per se, allegedly, deals. That's when you do your due diligence. That's when you see, okay, what type of a business is it? Is it in my proximity? How am I going to run it? And then you look at the numbers, and that's when you reach out to us.
Right.
That's when you utilize, I was talking about platforms and systems. Money Management today is a platform that we are promoting, so the operators out there, so the professionals out there could actually have a way to be transparent with their deal making. So I'm going to repeat that again. Transparency and being able to do deals is key. For us to be able to achieve financial freedom, we either have to trade our stocks, our gold, our whatever, but it better provide residual income. And the reason I said whatever is because I was thinking about crypto, you know? However, you need the residual income. So wealth building is phenomenal. Great numbers on statements are phenomenal, but you need those checks quarterly or monthly so you can come, ride with us on a bike, on a path, Marina Del Rey, down Manhattan Beach,
Malibu.
Malibu. Yeah, there's a short over there. It's only a mile and a half strand, but results. So here's where we have been, and I'm not, going to be saying anything that isn't currently happening. That's what you get from us. Investigative reporting. I flew out to Houston a few months ago, and we sold an asset that we had in the south side of Houston, and it's an anchored shopping center. And anchored shopping centers, if you Google it, go for in the Houston market, go for between 6.5 to 7.25 cap, give or take. Those of you that, again, don't know what cap is, it stands for cap rate. And whatever you don't know, Google or reach out to us. Now, could I have held out for a better number because we sold it at something that's aggressive at 7.5 cap? Sure, I could have asked for maybe 7.25, maybe another 250,000, 500,000. But at the end of the day, are you a deal maker? And that's what I found out in more than 30 years that I've been in the business. I come around a lot of operators and investors, and the ones that are able to succeed, I would say decade after decade, are the ones that are able to be agile with their deal making process. And that has to do with the systems that you use. That has to do with everything that we talk about, with the circle that's around you, with your mentors, and really, what are your goals? If you don't want to be on a boat, if you don't want to go ride a bike, and you want to sit in an office, more power to you. I'm perfectly fine with that. But if you do, then let us know and we'll help you out with that. So going back to that center, we got that sold. We had to do an exchange. We purchased a property which is in the northwest side of town, and that's where the growth is going. So those of you out there that are listening, if you're developers, again, we follow developers a lot because in commercial,
Where they're going
exactly,
is where the money's going.
exactly.
Right.
That's our audience.
Right.
So,
And so, for the person who doesn't have access to developers, right? How would they be able to, like, if I wanted to know, is a certain part of California, a certain part of Oklahoma is growing, developers are going there. How can I know that there's more buildings being built, more track homes? Because if like in Oxnard,
you can
California,
find all that.
there's
Right.
apartments going in there like crazy.
Right.
So as a dentist,
Then know where to go.
I love that because I know that there's going to be in an apartment, there's more concentrative of people that may need my service, right? So that's a great place to open up a business, for example.
100%. And doing your due diligence as far as finding out where the growth is something that as an investor, just like you said, it's very important that you're keen on. I'm currently working with a family office that has been helping us out for the last 20 years in Houston.
So they kind of tell you if there's growth going in certain parts?
You can't let anyone tell you anything.
And then you do your research, yeah.
You have to. I'm from the real estate world, and obviously a lot of our listeners are maybe not. So what I want to tell our listeners is that this family office that I work with, they're utilizing an AI system now, which is amazing. And they're able to put in real information as far as real sales around the area into the AI. Then they're able to put in information that they know about the operators based on the leases, based on the personal guarantees or lack of, based on the abstract of the leases, a summary of the leases. And again, what are you buying when you're buying commercial real estate? You're buying leases and real estate.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing, to be able to, what's your price per foot? Are you getting a good deal? Is it a fairly newer product? What meaning bad and good, right? The operators are going to need to prove themselves, and you're going to get new, on the flip side, new real estate. So the platform that they have is absolutely amazing, where it shows you, and we'll share that,
Yeah.
and we'll share,
I know Airbnb has one, I think, called AirDNA, where you can type a condo, let's say you're interested in, and it can tell you what percentage of the other condos in the area get booked for Airbnb, how much, so you can do the numbers and be like, oh, if
for
it's
real.
income,
Yeah,
10,000 a month, it's going to cost me 6, I'll net 4 a month.
yeah.
So
This
for
is
real
not
estate,
Airbnb.
yeah, this is
This
not
is not
Airbnb.
Airbnb, commercial real
This
estate.
is
So you
different.
were asking the information. So this morning I had a call with my lender, and again, my family office operator, who's also the broker and who's also the manager
In Houston.
in Houston,
Uh-huh.
and who's been handling our stuff for the last 20 years. So big time boots on the ground.
Mhm.
But I'm still going to fly out there
Mhm.
before we remove contingencies. But thank God I have a good team,
Right.
right? So after he spent a few days at the center checking out, if we want to buy the center and are we going to be able to occupy the few vacancies that are there. We definitely, everybody feels great about Houston. Everybody feels great about being the fifth largest city in growth. In some surveys that I've
Yeah.
seen and all that. The particular area of you moving your money. Remember, everybody, we always say, "What is your money secured by?" So here we took our money and we moved it from the south side of Houston to the north side of Houston, and we moved it to be collateralized by brand new product. And in this case, it's type A retail space, phenomenal
What does
space.
type A retail mean? What kind of retail is that?
It's pretty much, when you have a household income around of 180,000 a year,
Okay, so higher,
higher,
yeah,
affluent. There's a work shared office space tenant. There's an animal hospital, and what I'm the most excited about this, hopefully purchased by the time everybody listens to this. Again, this is right before Thanksgiving. If this comes out, this episode, say beginning of January, we would have closed. With this particular purchase, there's a field that's right there on the property that we're able to utilize for a doggy park.
Okay, cool.
So we'll have the foundation donate a doggy park, and it's amazing because there's already an animal hospital.
Yeah.
And the way I came up with it, because obviously first we were thinking, can we develop this piece of land? But when it comes to, it's a septic field, and you may be able to. It's not worth it. Much better to do a doggy park. So I'm really excited about that. Going back to that particular purchase and, and cap rates that we were talking about, we're picking this one up at roughly close to 8 cap. 8 cap means 8% return on your money. Our debt on this is going to be roughly around 6%, 6.125. So that spread, for those of you that are listening, that's your profit on leveraging your capital. So, it's really nice to be able to optimize your capital. It's really nice to be able to move your money around. If you're able to do it every 20 years to 25 years, that's awesome. You've ridden that cash cow for a long, long time. And you've got all the benefits, and now you moved it to a better side of town with, good guarantees.
So with this
But
one,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and that's
yeah,
what it's all about.
if with this one you close, is there any you're getting the 8%
Yeah.
and it grows?
Yeah.
Is there any time frame that you're thinking that you'd want to sell it and do
So-
another 1031? And if there's another opportunity or a buyer comes in that says, "Hey, I'm going to give you something that maybe more beneficial for the group," how do you
So
make
that's
that
a great.
decision?
So that leads us to our last point, which is dealing with operators
Mhm.
on a personal level as you manage assets, which is what my hat is, running a fund, and the acquisitions that we're dealing with. So we typically don't think to sell. We typically try to get a 7 or 10-year fixed with an amortization schedule of 25 to 30.
Oh.
In the commercial real estate space, that's considered long,
Mhm.
because industrial most of the time is at 20 years
Mhm.
ammo. I've seen it even shorter,
Mhm.
depending on whatever the product is. And because we buy not as risky product, and when we buy centers and retail centers that already are income producing and have proven a concept per se, the lenders, who for us most of the time it's the life insurance companies, they feel comfortable about it. So cost segregation, set it and forget it. You have your family office managing the asset. You get your reports. I overlook the reports. I send the investors as they need what they need. And at the end of the day, it's a truly passive income vehicle.
Mhm.
Now, as far as there was something else that you asked me.
Well, I was wondering if you would ever have
Oh,
a time where you think you're gonna
there
be
you go. So that leads me. So when do we sell? So West Michigan, for example, that's available for sale now
okay.
because the chiropractor who is leaving, and we may have a chiropractor that's buying it or moving there. We've got a lot of action on it. We've got Jersey Mike's looking at it, and we're open to being divisible. That's the other thing, that when the lender this morning was asking, well, you got two vacancies here. How come they're vacant? So we obviously have to know from the leasing agent what's been happening.
Right.
Why haven't you been able to make a deal? Will you potentially, share those prospects with us? So maybe we could do something, maybe even before close of escrow.
Right.
Why not? So yes, we sell. When do we sell? When we feel like it's not an asset that is going to be on the easier side of managing for the next 20 years.
Okay.
If it's going to
Otherwise,
be,
you keep it and you just get the
otherwise we
passive
keep it.
income cash flow based on the
Always.
rental income that comes in.
Our goal is to keep on buying. Our goal is for listeners to reach out to us when they inherit assets. They don't know what to do with them. They don't necessarily want to own all of it. They may want to own a portion of it. We're that option.
Mhm. So it's not just investing, it's also if they get an asset from a family member, sometimes
Inheritance.
these
Yeah,
things happen. You get a commercial lot and you're, let's call it, not a real estate
right,
person, and now you don't know what to do with it,
right.
right? You don't wanna sell it just for whatever. You may wanna be able to own part of it and have investors that you can bring in and actually make it profitable for the person even more.
Knowledge is power. We have a course, Commercial Investment Debt Consultant, which is on Udemy, and understanding commercial real estate, understanding how you can take money out of the stock market, put it into a self-directed IRA, and then invest that in real estate as opposed to cars or coins or art. To me, today is Monday, and when we're done with this, I'm lucky enough to have my family members at home, and I can go spend my Monday enjoying it. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't truly have passive income, because I'd have calls and I'd have a lot of things that are not necessarily going right, because they have a saying in a lot of languages, which is when you have a lot, you also have a lot of problems.
More money,
And
more problems.
exactly. And that's something that you just that's why the systems are key.
Mm.
And that's why transparency is key. And today, in today's day and age, with everything that's available, there's no excuses. There's no excuses for any of us, if we truly want it, not to achieve it. So if we are not achieving it, we don't want it. Just look at yourself in the mirror, be honest with yourself, say it, look into the right eye, then look into the left eye, and go, you just don't want it.
Yeah, you gotta definitely be honest with yourself. And in this episode, I call it the Thanksgiving episode.
Yes, yes.
It's the actual holiday where you're supposed to, or festival, whatever you want to call it, you're supposed to lead with kindness and gratitude. And I don't think it's just for Thanksgiving. It's for all the time,
Always.
every
Mission.
morning, every night. There has to be there's an experiment in Japan that this doctor did, that this scientist did, that took the water bottle and had the students talk really, really bad stuff to the water bottle. You're gross. You don't taste good. It's disgusting. And then it took another set of water bottles and said, "You're needed. You're amazing. You taste amazing." And then they froze them and they looked under a microscope. The water bottle that they took, that they said bad things to, you looked at the crystallization, the H2O was breaking up. It was almost like it was damaged. The water that was talked nicely to. This is the key point here.
How long was this?
Just a few minutes of talking.
A few minutes of talking.
To the water bottles already going bad, but it took they froze it, and then they took the crystals of the water and looked at it in a microscope. As you would imagine, the water that they spoke kindly to, it looked fresh. It looked like it was like from like the mountains. Key difference, you're made up of water. As a human being, we're about 60 to 70% liquid or water. So the bad things you talk to yourself when you look in the mirror, or the inner voice that you have that you're not making enough, or you're not strong enough, or you don't have love in your life, all these negative talk can cause illness within you. So it's not just a think positive.
Right.
This is science. You got to think and say positivity
100%.
towards yourself. Then maybe you're able to share it with other people around
100%.
you, like my neighbor here,
Yes.
who we always speak highly of each other, because then you're allowed to express those positive things. So during this Thanksgiving week and beyond, stay grateful.
Absolutely. Stay grateful every day, every hour. Start off your day always being grateful. Finish off being grateful.
Write it down if you have to. I know it's a cliche.
Yeah.
I've been teaching my mom this, They're an older generation, the Persian community. The first thing they think of is like, oh, something negative, protect myself from. They're always that first. And then, okay, thank God, everything's fine. Flip it, flip it. I have her now journaling 10 things every night. She sends a picture of it to me. So I make sure I'm holding her accountable.
Yeah.
I've got a 75-year-old woman who's dealing with an illness. I have to have her think positive before she falls asleep, positive when she wakes
amazing
up.
She's listening to you.
You know what? Because it makes, even right now when you're listening to me, you have a little bit of when you're talking about that. If I talk to you about all the negativity in life and things that are happening, you're like, man, okay, like, so you gotta lead yourself into that realm. And then all of a sudden you'll get, out of the 10 things that happen during the day, 6 or more are going to be positive. You flip the switch, because they will, whatever you believe in, God, the universe will give you those positive affirmations back to you, and little things in life, through an email, through a text, through a person you encounter, that could mean everything towards your future.
100%. And that just as we're kind of coming around a full circle. So our course is called Commercial Investment Debt Consultant. Debt consultant. In order to be able to invest your capital, you have to know how you can leverage your debt. If you don't know how you can leverage your debt, then you're not really working with your money. Everybody, I'm sure, has heard, you have $1 million. If you just buy it all cash, it's just $1 million, right? If you finance it, you can buy a few more.
Yeah, you can diversify.
So understanding debt and really coming around with realizing that the lenders are not against us, but they are with us.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that can help us with those red flags, as they should, because you want the lender to be your partner in the deal, but you also want to put a nice hefty down payment. And because of that, the lender will share with you as a partner on what's potentially going to, be a problem. And you looking into the future and thinking, will I be able to have an easy type of management system on this asset? The lender, again, coming up with a full circle, you have to embrace them. You have a lot of investors. On this morning's call, for example, my broker was able to show so many things to my lender that they didn't know, because they did other research, other due diligence. You asked before, how do you get actual numbers? We have CoStar, which is a platform for commercial real estate, which you have a lot of data on. You have LoopNet for sales, leasing. And at the end of the day, you have the databases that the lenders have kept by underwriting the assets. And the family offices that are regional in the markets have kept. And that's why most investment companies don't invest per se all over the US because it's very difficult to get those good deals all over the US.
Right.
However, when you have great relationships with good family offices and they are your true boots on the ground, those organic deals in the Sunbelt states come up.
When those deals come up, is there
Yeah.
a way for the listeners to be able to get on to understand what you're looking at, maybe investment opportunities through the website or
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
your email? What's the best way for them to be
Yeah.
able to do that?
Anybody that's listening to us can always reach us, both Dar and myself, through any of our
Yeah.
platforms, whether it's LinkedIn or
And you'll
Facebook
send them
or Instagram.
something maybe
It's
what of what
literally us.
yeah,
It's literally
what they're
us. I
looking
mean,
for. Yeah.
we're looking at the stuff for the most part, and just all you need to do is communicate with us. Obviously, let us know what it is that you're trying to do. Even a short 10-minute conversation or a short summary email, understanding of what the acquisition is or what the potential loan that you're looking to do.
I think
Just
Ben,
someone to talk
yeah,
to.
I think Ben, the biggest point here, there's some listeners are like, okay, I want to understand, learn, and trust where to put my 100 to 1 million. Where do I put the 100K? Where do you have opportunities? And the rest of it is, sharing the info if there's an opportunity. And then ultimately, sure, there's goals and what they want to achieve, but I've got 100K. What do I do? About that
I
question.
spoke about the course. We have the book, A Manual for the Ultimate Real Estate Investor. Most of our listeners are individuals that, I don't know if you know, but for the most part, the age of the first time home buyer has creeped up to, I think, 38 to 40, which is incredible to me. I
That's
can't even
crazy.
believe it. I bought my first home at the age of 21. I understand, again, that's not normal, but 38 to 40
That's
is
fine.
definitely too late, in my opinion. So we would love for the listeners to just really transact with us.
Mhm.
That's the whole point of Swimming with Whales, is for us to be able to enrich others as they are looking to achieve financial freedom. It's a very simple purpose. It's a very singular mission. And as we're doing it all, we wouldn't be able to do it unless we are very healthy physically, healthy mentally, and understanding who do we trust? Who's transparent enough to share with us what's happening with them as we go through this amazing journey called life.
Thanks everyone for coming on. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Before,
everybody.
after all that, and have a great New Year. But we'll
Yes,
talk then.
Happy New Year. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.